Good evening, Facebook family. How y'all doing tonight? We just want to say thank you for joining us prematurely while we're just starting our broadcast, and we just want to say thank you. Want to say thanks for joining us every Monday night, seeing what we have to say based on what the Lord has told us to do, and we just want to thank you for giving us a little bit of time on Monday nights. What else you got?
Yeah. Well, this is Thanksgiving week, so we will be hopefully giving you some ideas on how to show gratitude or thankfulness. So just as everybody's coming in, we just want to just say that we're thankful for you, and that as you're spending time with family this week, we just encourage you to be mindful of this season we're in, and making sure that you are always remembering, of course, to wash your hands, wear your mask. It seems a little weird sometimes when you're indoors with family, but if you're with family members you're not normally with, it might be a good idea to wear masks. It's tough when you have a close loved one dealing with COVID, because whereas you may some people don't have the same response as others, and sometimes you don't know how people may respond. So it's just best to err on the side of caution. Some families may even consider getting tested, which is what our family is doing, prior to having everyone to take a test, just to kind of give that peace of mind. And we're still taking precautions, eating outside on the carport, making sure windows and doors are open and air can flow, having a much smaller crowd than usual. I think our crowd will probably be maybe a fourth of what it normally is. Yes. Yeah, we usually have a really big crowd for Thanksgiving, and that will be much, much smaller this year. So we just want everybody to enjoy Thanksgiving, to take some time and really love on your loved ones, but to be safe as well. So we know y'all know that, but we care, and so we just want to mention that going to this season. We have quite a few people joining on. I think Charles and Francine are almost always first. Rhonda beat you today, Charles. So we are thankful for you guys, and for everybody that's coming in. We'll give it a little bit more time. Thank you. I see Francine and Rhonda both have already shared out, and I need to do the same from my page. We just, once again, anytime you share from the page you're watching on and share out to your friends and family, it's a gift. You're giving some information to others, and they can receive it or not, but we want to at least make it accessible to people. You never know how much you can bless someone's marriage just by giving them information and support, and that's exactly what we're doing today.
All right. So with that said, we're going to just give you our title tonight is Be Thankful, and we'll give you more information about that as soon as we get a few more people in. We normally start about 5 minutes out there, and we go on with the lesson, and we do believe people go back and watch the lesson if they miss it. So we just go ahead and do what thus says the Lord. Before we get started, just want to, and this is the only one I know about, so please don't take offense to this. Francine and Charles Brown are celebrating their anniversary this week, the 24th.
Oh,
so happy birthday! So happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary,
brother Charles and Miss Francine. Appreciate y'all going through that last year and seeing how y'all relationship has developed and has grown. So as soon as that testimony gets ready, brother Charles, you need to go ahead and share that. But that's our private talk. But we'll go on with what we're going to tonight. Being thankful, and just want to state that topic again. But we do want to take this time to thank our bishop and our first lady, Dr. Finus Bush Jr. and Lady Denise Bush, for giving us this opportunity to come to you on every Monday night through the church ministry. So we just want to thank them and give them all honor for what they've done for us and being the light in our relationship and keeping us going strong through these last couple of years that we've been a part of Crown.
Many years. It's been about 10 years, actually.
About 10, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So while, are you about to post to your page?
I already got to post to my page.
Okay, all right. So while we've got more and more people coming in, I see you, Sister Jackie. So somebody else come in too. Can't remember who it was. Oh, Myra Christian, faithful Myra. We got Nikisha Jenkins watching. Yep. So thank y'all. Thank you very much. So just to give you a little bit of a preface to this lesson, earlier, several months ago when we first started doing these lessons on Monday nights, we talked to you all about the 5 love languages.
5 love languages.
And that's something we've always referred to and kind of used as a staple within the marriage ministry through the years. Ever since we found out about the 5 love languages and was able to use them in our relationship, that's a tool we've always passed on. And so we did talk about it. We got a lot of positive feedback. Some people weren't aware of what it is, but hopefully you've had time to take that quiz and to figure out what your love language is, because we will be referencing that tonight. Understanding once you know what your love language is and what your spouse's love language is, then that equips you to hopefully be more effective in showing gratitude. And so that's what we're going to base tonight's lesson on.
And just giving homage to this week, tonight's topic is how to show thanks through the love languages, because we don't know how much you're actually giving thanks to the person that you're with most of the time. I know we've had several conversations about being grateful and thankful for each other, and you could say, well, I'm here all the time, but what are you doing to show that you care and you thank that person for being a part of your life and showing your gratitude for what they do for you? So what we're going to do tonight is, based on the love languages, we're going to show you or just talk about some things you can do to show the other person, your spouse, that you care.
It's interesting that often with Thanksgiving we focus on being thankful for just health and our extended family, and we kind of put a lot of emphasis on family. But how often do we really take the opportunity at Thanksgiving to be thankful for our spouse and to intentionally express that thanks? So this is an opportunity for you during this season to maybe take the time to be clear and be intentional. That's the word I want to use, to be intentional about expressing gratitude to your spouse in a way that they can really feel the gratitude that you're giving.
Right. And we're going to come up with some helpful stuff that you can do or possibly do to show your spouse, based on their love language, what you can do to show them thanks. The first one we're going to address tonight is words of affirmation. These are positive words that show meaning to your spouse. So when you're saying stuff to your spouse, if you have a tendency to say hurtful stuff, and if their love language is words of affirmation, you could possibly be doing more damage than good. So we're going to stay positive tonight and say that when you learn that your partner's love language is words of affirmation, make sure what you're saying is something positive. And that basically says, I love you. And you need to say that to them so they'll know that you love them.
So how do you suggest to show gratitude to someone whose love language is primarily words of affirmation?
Of course, I love you works. It works most of the time.
Well, but that's kind of...
Yeah.
I would think a person whose love language is words of affirmation would want more than just "I love you."
Right.
That's the least.
Right. So saying those words of affirmation in front of other people, that's the way you can do it. Dedicate a song to them. A song that you might hear and that make you think of your significant other. Send them that song and tell them this. When I play this song, you're on my mind. And you can just give them one reason today why I'm thankful for you on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. So those are some things you can do kind of to show affection and be romantic with it. You can spice it up how you want to.
Or even just a word of thanks every day, even for a week. Just to intentionally, maybe the week of Thanksgiving, to be intentional to give that, word of thanksgiving to that person every single week. You did a great job on dinner. Very good. That would be very much appreciated. Mm-hmm. Especially, it takes some work preparing meals. I mean, it's work. You put your time and energy into it, and it is good to hear that.
It is. If you want to do something a little bit more permanent, you can write them a poem and have it professionally typed in and frame it for them and give them that, so they can put it somewhere where they can see it all the time. Go ahead.
That's true, and there's also, I don't know if y'all can see on our wall, it's probably backwards because I don't have the ability to do mirror image, but like even on my office wall, I have words made, and those are words that I chose to have made. And so, and there's technology now that exists to where you can have words printed and mailed out to you in metal or in vinyl that you can put on the wall. You can be creative with that, or even to have it and just in some way make sure that it is where your spouse can see it, and it's a constant reminder, giving those so that they can look at it and see those words. It's a constant reminder. Maybe even have it somewhere in your bedroom. Something customized, in my opinion, is always a little better than something that's just kind of a carbon copy of everything else. Nothing's wrong with that. But if your spouse's love language is words of affirmation, then certainly having those original words would really mean a lot to your spouse.
Right. All right. Moving on to the second one, showing thanks based on the love language is quality time. Learn to spend valuable time together. That is where your spouse has your undivided attention. And that right there, that last little bit, undivided attention.
Right.
Because there are very many distractions in the world. But if you can get with this person when their love language is quality time, they want you uninterrupted, basically. And you need to set aside some time for that.
Right.
So things you can do, of course, plan a date night. That's at the top of the list. That's the least you can do, is plan a date night. Buy tickets to a concert. Surprise her with some tickets to a concert that she liked. My wife likes Sade music. Me, myself, it makes my stomach hurt.
That's
but
so unnecessary. So unnecessary.
If that's something that I knew, if Sade was coming to Augusta and I bought those tickets, I know that'll be something that she would appreciate. And I would go to listen to that
I
stuff.
think you know me well enough to know that I don't go to anybody's concert because I don't like crowds.
Exactly.
So
but Sade is more laid back, and she don't draw no rowdy crowd. So that's why I would take you to that concert. Now Mary J. Blige, I wouldn't.
I don't like any concerts, right. But I understand the sentiment.
Right.
If it ain't Jesus himself, I'm not interested in a concert. Just so you know, let's go and have it on.
That was just for example.
Yeah,
but I'm glad I'm listening though. I hear you.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I hear her. Okay. All right.
Unless it's a private concert, she gonna come to the house or to the backyard, then we can do that.
Okay. All right.
Keep it moving.
Yes, sir. And set aside some time. You can do a movie date. In this COVID time, setting up a projection outside or somewhere where you can go and cuddle up next to each other. That might be something you can do. So those are some things.
Or even a date just in the backyard, or just even somewhere at home. If it's something you put your time in, you talking about quality time, right? Yeah. So even just something. Like the other week when we went to the park or whatever, or by the river. Oh, yeah. Just something. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. The point is just having, putting the thought into it and having an experience together. That's something that can be used for gratitude. It honestly don't even have to be something that big, though, to show gratitude. It's just find out what your spouse enjoys, activities or events, that your spouse enjoys. A lot of it has to do with getting to know your spouse, and that shows us, that's a way to show love as well, is by knowing your spouse well enough to know what they would like. Right. It is unfair to assume your spouse knows what you like if you haven't told them or been clear about that, as we just demonstrated a few minutes ago. But that is certainly a valuable thing for quality time. That's one of my primary love languages, is quality time. And I do prefer small, quiet, intimate outings any day over something loud and active. Whereas he, on the other hand, is all about something loud and active, and so sometimes there has to be sacrifice on either person's end. So if I'm planning something for him, I have to keep in mind that he might love to go to a loud concert, or to go to, of course, in these COVID days, that ain't really happening.
Nope.
But to do something that involves lots of other people, or even like a holiday party or something, that's right up his alley. Not so much mine, but his. But the key is knowing your spouse and giving them what they want to express gratitude to them, just to let them know you appreciate them.
And that's just one of our differences, people. She just explained it. She like quiet. I'm a little
noisy.
Yes. All right. So that was quality time. The next one we're going to talk about is receiving gifts. And when you're talking about receiving gifts, it don't have to do much with being materialistic or just wanting the most expensive gifts you can buy. What these people want is something that you took the time to get and to buy, and you thought about it, and you made a choice, a meaningful choice based on the time that you spent together. So it's more or less, it's not the gift itself, it's the amount of time and thought that you put in that gift that they look forward to having. You got anything for that?
Well, it's just like we said, it's just a way of showing appreciation.
Oh, just like I was stating, you can get a poem for that person and get it framed, and you hand them that person that frame, that gift, it'll mean the world to them.
If that's what they like. Because in all honesty, some people do like expensive gifts.
Right.
And so you have to know your spouse, well enough to know, what your spouse likes, what your spouse appreciates.
Right. And even that expensive gift still has to do with something that they like. You can go buy them a Bugatti, and she wanted a 24-karat ring. That's two different things. But you got to know what that person wants. And you got to know your spouse. That's why we specifically say to your spouse, what Trina like might not be what your wife like. And it's probably not. So, take care of your house and see what she likes. Know the person you're buying for. Because I think we went over a lesson in a marriage class one time where, and I think our bishop even said this, that he went all out one Christmas and bought First Lady a lot of stuff, and she really wasn't into any of it, and he took offense to it. That he went out and he did all this for her, but he should have been listening to her and what she wanted. Because I think even in that lesson, I think he said he even told her what he wanted, but he still wanted to do it his way. And you don't want to get your feelings hurt by trying to do something good. So listen to your partner.
I think that actually happens a lot. I ain't gonna try to put it all on men, but that's just kind of been my observations. Very often, it can be easy to buy what you see other people giving or receiving, or what's popular.
Right.
But if that's not suitable to your specific spouse, it almost comes off as if you're not taking the time to get to know me individually. You're just buying what's out there, or buying what you think might make you look good as your spouse. So sometimes those gifts are more for the person giving it than it is for the person who's actually receiving it. And so I it can almost backfire, when you're getting gifts that you don't really connect to.
Right.
Especially if it's something far off that you wouldn't ever want. And then for your spouse to give you that gift, it can be an issue. So it's important to get to pay attention to your spouse and what your spouse likes. If your point is to show thanksgiving or to show gratitude, then you give your spouse something that would make them feel appreciated. And sometimes a gift can be something as easy as a meal. I guess that's more acts of service.
Right.
But hey, we move into acts of service, because that's pretty much where I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't need you to buy me a jewelry and all that. I'd much rather have you cook or clean or do something practical. But I digress.
Yes, but we're going to keep it moving, and just some ideas for receiving gifts. Like I said, a frame photo, spa certificate, meaningful. Just surprise them with something that they've been talking about. Notice I said what they've been talking about, and surprise them with it. So that let them know that you are listening to them and that you care. All right.
Sometimes even a flower from the yard or something for people that just enjoy you giving them a gift. It could be something that simple.
All right. The fourth one we're going to talk about is acts of service, which my wife was going into, so I'm going to let her take the lead on that one. I think that's one of hers.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know?
I know.
Okay. So acts of service is definitely a preference for that it's more meaningful. People whose love language to this is primary or secondary means that they most appreciate you doing things for them to make their life easier or to take some of the burden off of them. And so that can be anything. Honestly, getting a car washed, filling the tank with gas, washing dishes or cooking, any cleaning, even hiring a cleaning lady. That would be even given an acts of service, because even if you're not doing it personally, having someone come in and take the need to do those activities from your spouse, that translates into love. That's like saying, I see what you're doing. I see you. I'm happy to give you a hand to free you up.
Right.
From those things. I personally feel much better when things that need to be done are done, rather than trying to enjoy life on top of all these things that are undone. And so it brings a level of peace in order just to have everything done. So acts of services are definitely a love language that speaks to me. And if you want to show me some appreciation, like putting together that bookshelf, that right there in the corner.
I'm not looking over there.
I'm going to show it to y'all. That bookshelf right there that needs to be put together. So, that would be a great way to show some thanks and some appreciation.
Okay. And we're going to get the bookshelf put together, like I told her. But, yeah, that's one that, that I've always known was one of her top ones, because through the years, we've actually split up a lot of those household chores that deal with acts of service, the cooking, the cleaning.
And it's much appreciated. Yeah. Much appreciated.
She thanks. And since our children have grown, we've actually split it up a little bit more. So we do the acts of service to show my wife that we appreciate her, because that's one of hers. All right, the last one is physical touch, and I think this was my second one, behind words of affirmation. And physical touch means, it's almost like that pat on the back that,
you're doing a good job.
Yeah, you're doing a good job. It's just not the words; it's the actual touch. You could tell me something, but when you touch and say, "Yeah, you're doing a good job," that means a lot to the person whose physical touch is one of their love languages.
And that's not just sex. Some people, might assume that physical touch would mean expressing love through sex. That's sort of a different category. It's almost more gender based in some ways. But yeah, physical touch is those, even those non-sexual touches, just making that physical contact to show. So, for those people, making sure that there is some, level of, you probably don't like that. I don't know, but making sure that there is physical contact in the midst of expressing thanks, even holding hands or sitting close or whatever your spouse likes. That's another area where you really do have to find out what a person prefers,
right,
and give them what it is that they prefer, not necessarily what you think they should like or what you would like, but giving to that person what you know that they want. That's prioritizing your spouse over yourself and giving them what they need, and making sure to show gratitude that way.
Right. So that's when you're doing this, and maybe your physical, maybe your love language is not physical touch. That might be number 5 on your list. But if it's one of your spouses, you almost you have to.
You make that sacrifice.
Yeah, make the sacrifice.
Yeah, because that's
the
case for us. I mean, I'm not big on touch at all. I'm very particular about how I'm touched, and he knows that, and so he chooses to be considerate with me with regard to that. But because I know that that's something that he prefers, then I have to make the sacrifice to give him what he needs. Right.
And even though it's my second one, it's not as prevalent as words of affirmation. Meaning, it's high on my list, but we can, based on where it's on her list, where we can sacrifice a little bit for that. So that's how we work our love languages.
Right.
All right. So, get an understanding about the love language in this season, and continue to do what the other person needs in your relationship to make the relationship as good as it could possibly be.
And the quiz is online. I mean, you literally can just go in and Google love languages quiz or quiz for love languages. And you should be able to find it. If not, you can put, put something in the comments or whatever. I guess we could put it in there so that you'll have access to it. But you literally can just Google, 5 love languages quiz or love language quiz, something to that effect. And it should come up. It's not extremely lengthy. But it just kind of gives you that information, a little insight.
Right. And tonight's lesson wasn't really about the love language. We just reviewed it. But tonight's lesson was based on being thankful and showing your spouse gratitude and thanks for them being a part of your life. And that was the gist of our lesson tonight. Mm-hmm. But going back through the love languages gave us a platform to deliver that information to you where it needs to be delivered. And you need to think about your partner's love language now.
Yeah. And I will say, even, going beyond marriage, it's just good for relationships in general, even your family relationships, your friendship relationships, to be intentional about expressing thanksgiving or expressing gratitude to others. It goes a long way. I know with both of us being in education and working with children, it's always special when a kid gives you a handwritten note thanking you for what you've done for them, or a parent, gives you a note, or even a gift, or even just those words of kindness. It just goes a long way. So even inside of your marriage, you definitely want to be intentional about that. Even to your pastors, when people, not just pastors, teachers, parents, anybody that's meaningful to you, it's a good idea to take the time and be intentional to express your thanksgiving or your gratitude towards them. People need to hear it. Sometimes we just assume people know it, but it's always good to hear.
Always.
Yeah. So we are thankful for all of you, since we're going to model what we're talking about. So we are very thankful, and we try to tell y'all that all the time, for your participation within this ministry effort. Certainly thankful to our pastors, Finest Bush Jr., Dr. Bush, and Lady Denise Bush, and to the church ministry as a whole. We are thankful for you. So, and to my mama, because she watches regularly, so I got to shout her out every now and then. So definitely thankful. Just thankful for all of you.
All right. So, with that said, we just want to tell you some things that's going on in the ministry. Tuesday nights, or Tuesday day, there's a Bible study with Dr. Finest Bush, our bishop. On Wednesday, there's the men's mentoring group. On Thursday, there's the master's class with Bishop Bush and a couple of ministers and ministers and church leaders, and they talk about this week's lesson, which is a pretty good lesson this week. Being what it is, bringing means,
becoming a person of means.
Yes. To you and your household.
Yes.
And of course, on Sundays is our our worship service at 10 o'clock on Facebook on Crown Cultural Kingdom. Crown Kingdom Cultural Center. Boy, that is a tongue twister.
A little bit.
So we just love our ministry, and we hope that the little bit that we bring to you is being effective in your life. And we just want to thank God for giving us this little piece to bring to you.
Yeah.
You got anything else before we?
Just happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we see you guys. Talking back to us, and we just appreciate you. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and we hope y'all have a wonderful week.
All right. With that said, from the lady and the coach, we love y'all. Good night.